It's over 9,000!
Welcome, everyone, to Final Forum, with a more casual version of the show. As we've said, I don't know, I think like 6 or 7 times before we've done one of these little special episodes already. I am Jelly.
And this is the Bekinney.
And like I just mentioned, this is just sort of a casual catch-up episode. This is a special. This will come out not the couple days after we're recording it, because we've got an episode scheduled already, but this will be out about 9 days after we're recording right now. But it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute, hasn't it?
For us, for listeners, if you're listening out there, you're like, what are you talking about? You guys release an episode every other week. Yeah, except we're good at what we do. So
oh, careful. I don't know about that.
So we keep a healthy stockpile so that when we go from we went from probably pretty early July.
Yeah, I want to say right around the 4th probably.
I think it was like the weekend after, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
So when we go from July 11th until August 24th without speaking to each other.
Technically we did speak to each other. Technically speaking.
Yeah. We have a bank of episodes though, so that we don't lose out on feeding the machine, right?
Yeah.
So since then, busy here. I know you as well.
I imagine you've got quite a bit going on there.
Yeah. You were like doing family stuff, right?
Yeah, I went to Oneida Lake in upstate New York, and I spent a week with some family. I got to see my brother, my sister, my mother, some cousins, some aunts and uncles, and all that. So it was pretty cool. It was a good time.
That could be good, as long as you like all those people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they also had this really rickety boardwalk amusement park. And my sister thought it would be fun to take her son to go and check it out. So I went with him, and we were riding some of these rides. People should not be getting on these rides. They're dangerous. They had one. It was called the Himalayan, and it's just like this sled car that goes over hills and in a circle. So it just kind of like bounces around in a circle, right?
Yes.
And this thing goes incredibly fast. How fast, you ask? Well, after it hit top speed and we went over the first bump at top speed, my ass didn't touch the seat anymore on that ride. Just stuck in the air for the rest of that ride. Like, that's how hard it was going up and down.
I think everyone's seen that ride at an amusement park before. It's called almost always called the Himalayan, I think.
Yeah, they had it set up there.
I was trying to think. There's definitely things I've seen it called otherwise, but if you Google Himalayan ride, it comes up like immediately.
Okay, so good. Then people will know what I'm talking about at least.
Yes.
Then they had other classics like Tilt-A-Whirl, and they had like a little kiddie roller coaster and like bumper cars and stuff. It was fun though. Yeah. That was pretty much the height of the trip. That and wineries, visiting wineries.
Wine and I are good friends until suddenly I black out.
Well, fortunately, none of that happened.
Wine, and I think sake strike that perfect balance of being very drinkable and pretty darn alcoholic, compared to a beer.
I get you. Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It's because, I'm sure I could drink enough beers in order to get to that point. It's just, can I drink enough beers fast enough?
True.
And somewhat the same with liquor. It's like I tend to drink my liquor drinks fairly strong, so
Sure.
that makes me nurse them a little bit.
That's my strategy as well when it comes to mixed drinks. That or I'll just do shots and just pace myself.
Yes, but yeah, that's then wine. I just think I find wine like so drinkable.
Oh yeah, and especially because like you typically have it with a really nice meal, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're enjoying it, you're enjoying the meal, hopefully enjoying the company, and it makes it really easy to over partake, if you will.
Yes. And I think it was. I'm trying to think. Was it? It may have been a week after we last recorded. It may have been less, but I think it was a week. I think I tried to put the episode out like the week before.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a week after we last recorded. I was off to Japan.
Yes.
Which
yes.
if you follow us on social media, you know that I was in Japan. I've been posting about it, and over on our Blue Sky, which I'll just keep pumping up because that's where I tend to be the most active. I have taken I've taken the mission or whatever upon myself. Every Wednesday since I've been back, I post pictures from one of the days.
Yeah.
On our Blue Sky. And I've been trying to limit myself. Blue Sky only lets you put 4 images in a single post, you can put 4 images on every post of a thread if you want, but only 4 images in a single post. So I've been tasking myself, and I've only done 3 days so far, but I've been tasking myself to only post 4 images per day, which in 14 days in country, we have 1,870 pictures.
Holy moly.
And that's after extensive editing already. So what we would do just as a general thing, every day at the end of the day, I set up a Google Drive and I would just drop all of our pictures on both of our phones into a Google Drive. Okay. And so because my image count was at, whatever, because all your images from your phone are just labeled like image 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah.
Because my image count was at whatever and my wife's was at whatever, it would be like all of her pictures, then all of my pictures.
Right.
So when we first got back, what I did is I took just a couple days and I went through all those times, and we both would do it. I'm going to take 4 quick pictures here, 3 quick pictures there, right?
Yeah.
Just to make sure that at least one of them comes out. Well, I trashed all those already. Then my parents actually came to visit like a week after we got, not even a week, like 3 days after we got back. And so we went through the pictures with them. And as we were going, I was like, okay, this one could probably be deleted. This one. And so then I went back and did that. Then I went back and sorted them so that the pictures all make sense. Instead of it just being all my wife's pictures, then all of my pictures, it's like I renamed the pictures so that they flow.
Right. So it's more chronological, I guess you'd say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then from there, I also if my wife and I took a picture that looked pretty much exactly the same, I would just pick one. So I have deleted close to 1,000 pictures probably already.
Holy moly.
And we had almost 2,000. So we took a lot of pictures while we were there.
I would say
but
so.
It was an incredible trip.
I'd imagine.
And yeah, I feel like, I don't know, if people don't want to hear about it, I guess too bad.
This is our podcast. We get to talk about what we want.
Or maybe don't listen to this episode, but yeah, I feel like maybe I won't go through the whole thing even this time because I kind of want to just spend some time talking about it, right? And kind of
sure. And honestly, I'm up for hearing all about it. So
everyone,
away,
all
man.
the cool stuff I did. So I'll just talk for a bit, and we'll see. Eventually, I'll say, okay, I think that's enough, probably. But
that works for me.
We'll see how long that goes. So I don't want to be like, oh, the day of the trip, I woke up. But
Yeah.
I do want to talk a little bit about some of that because I do think there's some, I also think I read a whole bunch. I'm not going to say that I'm an expert on Japan travel now, but I read a whole bunch of experts and then I went and did it. And I could tell you some things that I think were cool, some things I think were good strategies, and some things that I did that were not as successful. So like my strategy for the flight there was don't sleep the day before at all. And the extent to which I was successful on that, I think our flight left at maybe 10 a.m. I stayed awake on the couch until about like 6:30, 6:45 a.m. And I probably then fell asleep for about 40 minutes until my wife woke up at 7:30, which she just kind of does naturally. So my mission was to stay awake the whole time, and I almost made it. I slept for like 40 minutes.
That's not bad.
So that was my strategy.
Helps you get through the rush of the airport probably too.
Yes. So that was my strategy. But anyways, so the plan was to not sleep so that when I got on the plane, I would basically sleep. And I absolutely did that. Like, I don't really remember anything that happened after I sat down, which we had some bad seats on the way there. We were both in middles, like stacked on top of it. Like, I was in row 33, she was in row 34, but we were both in the middle. That kind of stinks. I'm sure anyone who, like, you're always packed like a sardine when you fly. It's always better to have someone next to you so that if you encroach on their space a little, you don't feel as bad because they're probably doing the same to you, and it's not as awkward.
Yeah.
Right? When you're in between two people you don't know, it's just like, oh, I better not touch anything or anyone. So I don't remember anything from like once we sat down on the plane until they woke us up maybe about 3 hours into the flight with our first meal. Now, I should have looked up how often they were going to feed us, but I didn't. So they wake us up for a meal and I'm like, oh, I better eat this because I don't know how many more times they're going to feed us. And it was like bad Chinese food basically is what it was.
Okay.
So I forced it down, and then I went back to sleep until they woke us up again about 3 hours later. And I was like, well, I better eat because I don't know when they're going to feed us again. And it was like, this one wasn't bad, but it was like a hot sandwich. And it's like, you could just as easily have made like cold sandwiches, and they would have been better.
Ew. Like,
if heating something up on an airplane is going to be a Herculean task, why not just make some cold sandwiches? I'm totally good with like a cold BLT, cold cut sandwich. That's totally fine. Instead, it had to be this like sandwich with this like warm, like pesto kind of thing on it, and it's like it was fine, but like
a panini or something.
Yeah, it could have been like a good cold sandwich, and instead it was like this hot sandwich that wasn't as good. And then the last thing was the most edible thing I had in 6 flight meals, and it was like breakfast. It was like pancakes with this warm syrup already inside of them.
Ooh.
And that was actually pretty good. So then like, while flying, I watched the new Captain America movie.
Oh, ugh. I was about to say, I'm sorry to hear about it.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I've heard it was not very good, and I just avoided it.
And then I watched that Robbie Williams documentary. Not documentary, because he's played by he's like a monkey in it. What was it? First Better Man?
Oh, yeah, Better Man. Yes.
Better Man? That was fine. It was okay. I don't know who Robbie Williams is, so I didn't care.
I think he's
super popular
English pop singer or something like that.
He's so popular in the UK that this is wild. This is one of those we live in a simulation moments. So I watched this Robbie Williams documentary or whatever, this Robbie Williams movie, and then the second night we were in Japan, we went out on like a bar hopping thing, and dude from the UK picks a Robbie Williams song to sing on karaoke.
Oh.
So I was like, I just watched the movie about this guy. I just heard this song for the first time.
How serendipitous.
And then the other thing I watched on the flight, because I was only awake for about 6.5, 7 hours of our 14-hour flight. The other thing I went and watched was Paddington in Peru, which was delightful.
Oh, okay.
Not as good as
Paddington
Paddington
movies
2.
are really hitting it out of the park.
Not as good as Paddington 2.
Because apparently that's a perfect film.
Probably not as good as Paddington 1, but still just delightful. Just a delightful movie. The Paddington movies are awesome. If you've not seen them, highly recommend them.
All right, I guess I should watch them then.
So then we landed, and customs was pretty easy and everything, but, it's like, we're in Japan, yay. One of the two mistakes that we made, that I specifically made the whole time in terms of transportation, I took us to the wrong hotel.
Whoopsie doodle.
We were staying at a hotel in Shibuya, and I took us to the same hotel chain and everything in Shinjuku, it's literally like one train stop away. Mm-hmm. But, I just remembered the name of the hotel and and I was like, oh, it's that one.
I mean, if you're going to make a mistake like that, at least it's early in the vacation,
Yeah. So that kind of stunk, because then we had to get, like, you're getting in that mode of like, okay, I'm about to drop all this stuff off. Mm-hmm. And then we had to get in the mode of, okay, I got to take this stuff all the way back to the train station and get on one more stop. But no, then we went from there. We were staying in Shibuya. We took the train to the Meiji Shrine, which is like, it's between Shibuya and Shinjuku at, I forget the name of the park, Yoyogi Park. And okay. It's just a really big, really nice shrine in like a really cool park. And it's just like, you're just sitting for 14 hours, go stretch your legs type of thing, right?
Sure.
And it's open until like dusk. And we got there at like 4:35 in the afternoon by the time we kind of arrived and everything and got all of our stuff in the hotel and da-da-da-da-da. And so then we walked around like Takashita Dori, which is a shopping street in like the Shibuya kind of Yoyogi area. And then we got some yakitori, and that was like a day. That was a day. And we fell asleep, I think, at like 9-ish o'clock Tokyo time. And then that's when, I don't want to say the jet lag part of it, because I never felt jet lag. Like we ended up talking to some Austrians who were having jet lag. Like they were saying like, oh, we like get dizzy. We have to take a nap. We feel like we can't function. And I'm like, oh no. What I noticed, it's both of us, I was like up and at 'em every day at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look, the sun is slightly peeking in, and in America, in Houston, 4:30 a.m. in Tokyo is like 6 p.m. in the evening. I'm ready to go. Like,
go all night.
Like, so yeah, I was up and at 'em every day at like between like 4:30 and 5:30, which seems fine. And it mostly was. The exception being, nothing is open in all of Japan. And this is, again, if you're listening out there and you're like, who is this idiot? What does he think he knows anything about going to Japan after going once? Yeah, maybe I'm very wrong and I never found the place, but there is nothing that's open before 10 a.m. And when I say that, I just mean like, there's no breakfast spots. Oh. And did I find one or two in the entire time I was in Japan? Yes. But as a general rule, there aren't like breakfast places that are open at like 7 a.m. for breakfast. There are breakfast places and they open at like 11. And you're like, breakfast for me was 7 hours ago when I woke up at 4:30.
McDonald's is feeling scandalized right now.
And that's like 7-Eleven is open early and you can get breakfast foods there, and their 7-Eleven breakfast foods are really good and everything, but like, there's not like there's this little cafe right across the street from the hotel that's open every day at no. And that blew my mind because if you get on a train at, between 7:30 and 8:30, it is like sardine can, like everyone going to work.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that makes
everyone's
sense.
going to work, but nobody's having breakfast, apparently.
I guess they're eating
Unless there's
before
some
they leave.
What's still open at like 7 a.m. is stuff that there are places like this. A lot of places don't open until like 5 p.m. and then they close at like 8 in the morning. And so you can go at 5 a.m. and get yourself some dinner.
I think that has to do with their work culture, right? Like
I
they
think
have a
so.
habit of like office workers like going out and staying out all night drinking type thing.
Yes. So yeah, you can get like some yakitori or some ramen or udon at
I mean,
6
I
a.m.
wouldn't mind
But
starting my day with a nice bowl of ramen. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But
when it was, see, we had to eat our ramen a little more strategically because we were there and everyone was telling us it was going to be hot, and I knew it was going to be hot because I had looked it up. But it also, for real, seriously, no joke, is hot. It is like Houston. It is hot. It is humid. Every day was peaking in the upper 90s, and the humidity was insane. Like, so would I have started a couple days with a bowl of ramen? Maybe, except I didn't want to start with a bowl of hot ramen sloshing around my stomach
fair.
and then go out in the heat for a couple hours. Like, that was the real issue. Because the general strategy then, every day we would wake up and we would go do some outside stuff from, I don't know, 6, 7 in the morning. We'd go see some shrines, do some stuff, whatever, until probably around noon, 1. And then we'd get back to the hotel around 1:30-ish, and we would stay in until dinner time because it was intensely hot.
Wow.
So then day 2, because day 1 we just walked around to that to that shrine and just like kind of got our bearings is what we like to say, which means we got like a drink and some food and that was it. Then day 2 we went to Meguro, which is in like I think southwest Tokyo, and we worked in a ramen shop. Legit. Like, we took a ramen cooking class that was like 5 hours long.
Holy crap.
And we were like cracking bones to make like the bone broth, which we made in a pressure cooker instead of cooking because they normally cook it for up to 36 hours.
Holy moly.
We made it just in a pressure cooker. And like we were like pulling noodles, making chashu, like all the things.
Cool. That sounds like fun.
We worked in a ramen shop. And that was cool. That was a fun experience. And I actually, right now, on the stove, I have a pot of bones going to make broth.
Nice.
I am all about this now. Like, I have.
You'll have to send me the recipe. I would love to try that.
It's an intense recipe, and then also technically we learned all about like real ramen. Like, there are 5 layers to real ramen. The first is your tare, which is like a heavy, strong flavor. It's almost like the equivalent of the flavor packet in your little ramen. It is the thing that really brings forth a lot of flavor, and it's mostly soy sauce, but it's like soy sauce, and you put some konbu, which is kelp, and there's also garlic, and there's a few other things in there to make this like really, and you only put like a tablespoon in it in a bowl. Then you have your broth, which I am currently attempting to make tonkatsu broth, which is mostly pig bones, and they used a little bit of at the shop we were in, they used chicken backbones and pig bones. I am using pig bones, chicken backbones, and then I couldn't find the exact type of pig leg bone that we used. I could only find neck bones in my store, so I'm using pig neck bones and pig feet and chicken feet to add some of that additional collagen and give
okay.
it a more thick mouthfeel. Then in your ramen, you've got the noodles, which they use a heavier type of flour and lye powder, which is going to be interesting buying that.
You got some skeletons in your closet you're trying to get rid of?
No, apparently you have to be really careful when you buy lye powder to buy like food grade, because generally it's not really used in food.
Yeah.
And it's only like, it's just a small percentage, but it's what gives their noodles, I think that they say a stretchier quality is the lye powder, I think. They talked about it a lot. They were like, oh, it's like what separates real ramen noodles from like not real is the lye powder. Then you've got your toppings, which is your chashu, your green onion, which is the negi, the tamago, which is your egg, and the naruto, that processed fish thing. And then you've got your aroma oil, which is usually like a chili oil, and you put that all together and you get this amazing bowl of deliciousness. It's fantastic.
I bet. I'm jealous.
And it was super, super, like, super tasty stuff. So we did that, and then while we were out, we went and saw the 2 Godzilla statues that are in the Chiyoda area. There's one outside, which is Shin Godzilla, and that one, in addition to being Shin Godzilla, so I don't like it, it's in a spot that makes it really hard to take a picture with, so that is dumb. It's hard to describe, but if you like look up pictures of it, you will almost never see pictures of people standing around it or next to it or near it, and you're like, why doesn't anyone take a picture next to that thing? And it's because you can't get like next to it. But right in the same plaza almost where this Shin Godzilla statue is outside, there is a Toho office building, and inside in the lobby there they have a 1954 Godzilla statue, and you can get right up with that one and take pictures.
Nice.
So we did that, and then we went to Golden Gai, which is in the Shinjuku area. It's like that was this evening. Then this evening we went to Golden Gai with we booked like a tour, like not a private tour. It was like there was like maybe 10 or 12 of us in this tour group, and the guide was like a local, and he walked us around Golden Gai, which is like, if you've ever seen the stereotypical like back alley bars and things. Yeah. We like went into a sake bar that was, barely fit all 10 of the people that were on this tour, like stuff like that. So that was that day. We got to have some food, we got to have some sake, we got to sing some karaoke after we were good and loaded up. It was fun.
That does sound like a good time.
And that was cool, because like I would never have known which places to go in walking around these like back alleys,
Yeah.
So I was glad I like booked something.
You don't want to walk into the wrong bar.
One thing they warn you about is like everything is super safe, and I would say that like I never once felt in the least bit nervous. Now, I also have the white male privilege thing going on where I don't generally feel super nervous walking around in general. And on top of that, my wife and I are very known for like not caring where we are in terms of like, this doesn't seem like the best area. We're always the people like, we are the people who are like, oh, we're in a bad area. That means there must be some really good food around here. Like, because tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, in my own personal experience, you're pretty spot on.
So we're a little more adventurous and like less caring of where we are. So, but I never once felt dangerous. But what they tell you have to be wary of is places that try really hard to convince you, especially as a foreigner, to come in and follow them. Most likely, they will end up billing you way more than you should be billed for that meal.
Ah,
so it's more of it's more opportunistic than it is criminal, I guess I'll say.
Okay.
And then, so that was day 2. So then day 3, we went to the Tsukiji Outdoor Fish Market, which is like it's where they like bid on the fish as they come off the truck, and then they put the fish out. That was cool. That's a cool place. It's a cool place where you can go and like there's a bunch of street vendors making food, and it's one of the few places where it's like socially acceptable to be eating in public at all.
Oh.
It's very much not a thing in Japan. They do not eat in public. It's considered, I don't know, I guess very rude, because I was there for 2 weeks and I never saw anyone do it.
Wow. Interesting.
So after we went to the fish market, we then walked around Ginza, and we saw like an old kabuki theater. We saw one of the clock towers that Godzilla destroys in various Godzilla movies in Ginza. And then we went to this thing called the Art Aquarium. This was not on our to-see list at all, when we planned out the trip.
Uh-huh.
But the day before we were going into Ginza, the night before we were going into Ginza, I was like, oh, let's, what else do you do in Ginza other than just walk around and be like, oh, wow, that's an expensive shop? Because that's what Ginza is. Ginza's like Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
It's like, oh, you want to stop and shop in the Prada store? Because I sure don't, like. But that's what Ginza is. So I was like, what else can you do there? And it was like, oh, go to the Art Aquarium. And I was like, the Art Aquarium? And you pay like $25. And when we first walked in, it was like this wall of like globe fish tanks with lights in them. And I thought that was all that it was. And I was like, wow, I just got ripped off. And then you walk and you turn the corner and there was a lot, so much more. There was like, there were tanks that were like complete just cubes that were then stacked like in throughout like woven bamboo, so it looked like a bamboo forest of fish tanks. There were tanks with like just the craziest looking fish in them, with like huge eyes or big puffy cheeks or eyebrows. There were like ones that looked like just art installations unto themselves, ones with mirrors where it looked like there were like thousands upon thousands of them due to the mirroring. It was really, really an awesome, very cool experience.
That's pretty cool.
And so that was cool. And then walking around Ginza, we stopped in a shop that had like a ton of Godzilla and Ultraman toys, and that was cool for me. And then we went to Kaiju.
I was about to say that's for the kids, right?
Yeah. Then we went to Kaiju Sakaba for lunch, which is in a train station. That was the other, like, this place took a while to find because it's inside, like it's on like level 3 of a train station, and it's an Ultraman themed restaurant.
Okay.
So you walk in and the place is guarded by like Ultraman monsters, and my food came inside of like little Baltan hands, and like it's very like all the waiters and waitresses are dressed like the Ultraman Kaiju Dada. It's a pretty cool themed restaurant. The bummer was that the merch shop is only open during dinner instead of lunch. Okay. So I couldn't get anything from there. So then after eating at Kaiju Sakaba, we went to Tokyo Tower. We did not climb Tokyo Tower, but they had all this stuff. It was like a company had all this stuff set up outside to like try and keep people cool because it was extremely hot. So they had this thing where you could go like fishing for cold drinks, and once you caught a cold drink, you got to drink it. And they had like a cold foot bath where you just got to sit and drink like a rice-based drink. And then they had this other thing set up, this other booth set up, and it was like shoot down a bunch of cans with a squirt gun.
Okay.
And my wife gets in the line, and like it's not moving, and it's not moving, and it's not moving. And eventually it slowly creeps along, and she finally gets to the front, and they give her this squirt gun, and she's just like bang, 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 and like can fall down because it wasn't that hard, but they all were like, whoa. And then they like took a closer look at her and they go, oh, American.
Oh, that's good.
So yes, we We very much Americanized. We very much stood out as the Americans who like could shoot a gun,
That's
even
great.
though it was just a squirt gun.
To just get roasted like that, it's pretty good.
Then there was a couple really cool temples right around Tokyo Tower. We went and visited those, including the ones that were in front of what are called the Success Steps. These are like a very steep staircase leading up to this one temple that it is rumored a samurai once rode his horse up and down, and afterwards had great success in his life. And so if you climb these stairs, you are rumored to also have success. We then got some cool pictures of the Shibuya Scramble, which is like the busiest intersection in the world. It's the one, if you've seen video, like you've probably
isn't it like it's like a 5-way intersection or something like that?
Yeah.
And then they also cross like the total length. Like it's wild. Yes, I've seen some videos of it.
Yes, I think it's featured in one of the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, fun. I
don't know why I know that.
Well, because we've already been talking about Godzilla, so you got to get a reference to something else in there.
And then we went to Mandarake, which is like a massive manga and toy store, and they have multiple locations. We just went to the one in Shibuya, and like you can get backlogs of everything. I got an old issue of Weekly Shonen Jump that had an issue or had a chapter of Dragon Ball in it, because I thought that's a cool, unique souvenir, right?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I can't read Japanese, but I think it's neat to have like an actual issue of Weekly Shonen Jump from there. And it was like, it was not that expensive, especially I've seen this exact issue listed for like $60 to $90 on eBay.
Oh.
It's week number 22 from the 1988 run of Weekly Shonen Jump. So it's pretty late in the year, and the Dragon Ball chapter that's featured in it is Krillin versus Ma Jr.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I have not actually cracked this open yet. It is still like vacuum sealed. I'm unsure on that.
Unsure on whether you want to crack it open or not?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd leave it sealed. Why not?
Yeah, it's vacuum sealed, so that's like, yeah.
Keep it in mint condition.
Yeah. Then for dinner that day, we actually had Thai food, which was super, super good. It
is in general, but
excellent.
Yes, I can imagine it was probably very good.
Then the next day we woke up, we went to Kyoto. That was, so we get up to go to Kyoto and like, I'd never done the bullet train thing before at all. And we looked it up, and there's like tons of times listed for these trains. And I'm like, I don't want to screw this up somehow. You know, we get it online and we get the wrong time or the wrong line or so, like, you know, I don't know. Let's just go to the station and have someone help us. Mm-hmm. So we go to the station, and while we're in the station, the guy at the ticket counter is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, there are no more close times." Now, someone says that on intercity travel. Inter or intra? Intra, right? No. Yes.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of just splitting hairs at that point.
Whatever. Someone says that when traveling between two cities in America, you think, oh God, hours to, do I need to start looking for a hotel here tonight? Mm-hmm. There are no close times. You'll have to wait about 40 minutes.
Oh, man.
So I was like, oh, so I can like go get myself a snack, go get myself something to drink, go to the bathroom, and then the train will be here. Like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Also, while in this train station, we met a couple people from the, I believe, Atlanta area. So, Shelby, if you're listening, what's up? Good meeting you. That was cool. That was a fun. They were also in the same boat. They were like, we got here, and they were like, oh, there's nothing close. And then they told us to wait like half an hour. Like they were on the train right before us. These bullets between these cities run like every 6 minutes.
Holy moly.
At 200 miles an hour. It's insane.
That's cool.
That was our only glimpse of Fuji. We didn't get out to Fuji at all. We just saw it from the bullet train. And then in Kyoto, the first day we get there, we just checked into our hotel, then kind of walked around. We went to this little outdoor garden, and we had a really nice meal that night. We went out to a meal where like the place seated 8 people. The chef like prepped every dish for you, like right in front of you. And it was all based around yuba, which is, I've been calling it soy milk cheese, because what it is when you boil soy milk, a film forms on top, and then you can like peel that off, and that's yuba.
Oh, okay.
And it was being served to us in these like cubes almost, is how they looked, but you could tell they were like folded sheets. What you're supposed to do, and I didn't know this because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Just the best way to discover food.
You're supposed to like pinch a tiny little piece of one of the sheets and pull on it so that you can admire how meticulously folded this is and how good of a job they did in pulling a nice long sheet that they've been able to fold multiple times. I was just picking it up and popping it in my mouth like a block of cheese. Oh. So this is like, it was a cool meal. It was really good. And there was other stuff, like I had duck also with mine, and my wife had wagyu with sukiyaki, which is like they grill it on over a sterno, like right in front of you.
Cool.
So that was really good. But one of my other big faux pas happened here. So they put this sterno on, and then they put like a hot pot of porridge on, and it was like yuba and rice porridge. While that's cooking, she puts a thing of miso soup in front of us. After she sets the thing of miso soup down, she sets in front of us a little plate, like looked like a butterfly. It was very cute, with a little thing of wasabi piled on it and a little thing of salt piled on it. And she's like, if you need something, you can use this. So I take a sip of my miso soup. I'm thinking it tastes fine. I really like it. Mm-hmm. But if this is what they do, I will do it. So I pick up my wasabi and toss it into my miso soup. Because, again, if that's what they do, I'll give it a shot. Our waitress's face dropped. She looked horrified, as if I had just like spit in it or something. And she is like, no. Those seasonings were for the porridge.
Oh.
Not for the miso. So there I then drank my cup of wasabi miso soup. Whoops. I don't know what I'm doing, so then the next day in Kyoto,
it's funny to me because I could see myself making the exact same mistake.
With the order she laid those things out in is
I totally understand, and I agree with you. Yes, that's a little wait, what? Yes.
But so that was actually our wedding anniversary. Like that was the day of our wedding anniversary. So
that's nice.
It's a nice meal to go out and experience. And then the next day we went to the Arashiyama bamboo forest, which is awesome. It's just like huge, like 50-foot high stalks of bamboo. Really, really awesome. We went to the Tenryuji temple, which was one of the recommended things, and it was cool. And I would say because you're in Arashiyama and it's kind of right there, okay, but it was by far not one of the coolest temples that we went to the whole time. If you're trying to be more budget conscious, not that it was expensive. Every one of these temples is only like 500 yen to get into, which is like $3.50 per person. But if you're trying to be like more budget conscious, I would say this is one that you could kind of skip. It was just like a cool open area, essentially.
Nice.
After that, we took a walk to, what was the temple that we went to after that was really cool? Oh, it was called Gyoji, which is, I don't know if it translates to anything, but it's like moss gardens.
Oh,
And it was like thick, like a dude was walking on it, thick moss. And he was sweeping it to keep all the debris from the trees from marring the moss so that it was as bright green as possible. And it was really, really cool. And it was a little bit, I don't even want to say it was necessarily off the beaten path. It's just not as popular because the structure of the Gyoji temple is like not as impressive, so people don't go. But it's like, to me, it was like all about the moss garden, and it was really, really cool. And so there were only maybe like 2 or 3 other people there the whole time. It felt very peaceful. So
nice.
that was cool. And then we went to another temple where, weirdly enough, while we were there, they were doing a memorial service. So we got to like hear the sutras and chants and call and response of a memorial service. That was pretty cool.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Also, my international crime spree began here, or continued, depending on how you look at some of the faux pas I made along the way. We were walking at one point, but like from one temple to another, and my Google is like, walk down this street and make a right. So we're walking, and I was trying not to look at my phone 100% of the time, you know? So we're walking, and I see what I think is going to be the right. So we make a right, and I'm like, okay, well, where to now? And I pull up my phone, and I'm like, oh, wait, actually it says we're supposed to turn back there. Okay, so let's go back. And we walk back, and I'm like, wait, this is the street we just came from. Where am I supposed to? And so I like keep my phone out, and I'm looking at it and looking at it. And it's like, turn right now. And I turn to the right, and this quote unquote path
Okay.
that it wanted me to walk down is so overgrown, and there's like bushes growing in the middle of it. I'm like, this cannot be right. But maybe it just looks like this for now. Maybe it opens up, right? So we start walking. And it starts getting like more overgrown. And eventually I'm walking, and there's just some dude gardening, and I realize that I'm in like some dude's backyard. So we just like hustled through the rest of the way and get to the other side. And on the other side of this path, there's all these signs that say like no trespassing, private property, blah, blah, blah. But like, yep. Well, we just walked right through there.
Whoopsie. Well, you're
But, like,
really,
I don't know.
really racking up those faux pas, man.
You're so clueless, right, on
Yeah.
where you're supposed to be going that I'm just like fully looking at my phone to get me places. Then we stopped at like this tiny little coffee shop that had the best steak sandwich. Oh my goodness, it was so good. It might have been also that we hadn't eaten anything like all day up to that point, and it was like 2 p.m, and we were hot and dying. But we also did the Kinkakuji that day. Yes, Kinkakuji, which is the Golden Pavilion. That was very touristy. That was like too many people. It was one of the places that I was like,
Okay.
it's very cool. It's a very cool view and everything, but like I feel smothered by humanity right now. And there were crowds in a lot of places, but that was definitely one of the crowdiest crowds. For dinner that night, we did yakiniku, which is like there's a grill in the middle of your table, and then you put in your order on like an iPad, and
Yep.
they bring you raw meat and you cook it.
Oh, it's kind of
Like
reminds me of like Korean barbecue a little bit.
Yeah. So that was cool. I don't even say we made a mistake here in any considerable way. It just was like for a moment I felt very awkward. So like we put in an order for like 4 or 5 things, and it took like a really long time to come to us. And I'm like, it all comes raw. Like, what is the deal? So while this is taking a very long time, I was like, we should put in like another order of 4 or 5 so that they're staggered, you know?
Yeah.
And then like that first order starts to come, and I was like, let's put in like another order right now for 4 or 5. That way, like they keep being staggered. Mm-hmm. Well, they ended up bringing the second and third orders at like the same time and like stacked these serving trays like higher than we were. Like we had a lot of food on our plate, on our table at one point. I was like, we maybe could have not done it that way. Whoops. And then we walked around Gion that night, which is where like you can spot a geisha, and it's very old school Kyoto. Like half the people walking around were wearing those old school sandals.
Oh, okay.
I forget what those are called. The ones that Goku wears. Hey, bring it to some Dragon Ball talk. The ones that Goku wears when he's going over when he's fighting Ninja Murasaki and he's going over the stars so they don't get in his feet.
Woodblock sandals?
Yeah, like the woodblock sandals, yeah. So that was really cool. And then that was that day. Then we went the next day to the Thousand Torii Gate shrine, the Fushimi Inari in Kyoto. The next day, we also did the Ginkakuji, which is the silver pavilion, which I thought was like, the building is not as nice, but the grounds were really cool and not super crowded, and it was like, again, like very peaceful. We got to go, like, there's like a little hill that you get to climb up that you get like a very good view of Kyoto. I loved that. Then we walked along the Philosopher's Path, which is like an old monk sort of pilgrimage path between temples. We went to this one temple, I kind of forget the name of it, but they have an aqueduct, and it's interesting because like it looks just like the Roman aqueducts do, and that just kind of sticks out architecturally in
Makes
Japan. So that was cool. Then that day the wife was like, listen, we've been walking a lot and we've been out a lot. I'm taking an easy day. And I said, that's cool. I went then that afternoon to Toei Studio Park, which is a little amusement park where they have a whole bunch of Kamen Rider stuff. I went and did the ninja obstacle course because I'm a big boy. And that's the kind of place it is. It's like Legoland if you're a big fan of samurai movies and Super Sentai.
Right on.
It's like that level, like where, like, you know, like all the rides at Legoland, if you're an adult, you're like, I guess. That was like every experience at this place, except I was so clueless because of the language barrier that for me it was like, like so I did this obstacle course, whatever, that was just like walking around and whatever. I did this one thing that was like the ninja experience or something, and they like were popping out of the walls, and then they were like just shouting in Japanese at you very, very fast, very, very a lot. And then they like broke us up into individuals. And the idea was you were supposed to remember all the places that they popped out of walls and things, I think, and like go to them and like in a certain order and everything like that. And they were like giving you clues, but the clues were in Japanese. Clearly they're meant to be figured out by like an 8-year-old. But because I don't speak the language at all, it was like I was just walking around these rooms, like pushing on walls, trying to pull things, and like stuff wasn't budging. And finally they were like, push here. And like I would push the wall and it would like open, and they would clap for me as if I had just figured out. You're like, yay! Like, was like, yay, I'm more invalid than a 6-year-old Japanese child. Like,
Oh, that's fantastic.
but like, I had fun with that.
Sure.
Also there, they have a gigantic, like life-sized Evangelion,
Cool.
which is, it's like, it's meant to look like it's buried or like in that, I forget what the red fluid is called in Evangelion. Like TC fluid or something. I can't remember. But it's meant to look like it's like kind of in that fluid. So it's only the top half of it, but it is life-sized top half of it.
Sure.
And then there's like a little Evangelion experience that goes along with that. I went and saw the Samurai Stage Show, which is like if you've ever been to an amusement park where they've done like a little stage show that's maybe been like a Western or something. It was like very similar to something like that. Or maybe like sometimes they do wizards or magicians, you know, at these amusement parks. Like it was one of those types of things. Mm-hmm. The fun part about that was they're doing this show and they're like, this whole time I'm like, okay, that's the good guy, that's the villain, and they're arguing about something. It has to do with this scroll. Okay, I'm following, even though I'm not following the nitty gritty. I'm following.
Yeah.
And then the show just stops, and now, after 6 days being in Japan, I had watched like a decent amount of TV, like especially at night before going to go to bed. And Japanese TV is super weird because the commercial breaks do not necessarily happen in ways that lead into commercial breaks, especially like watching the news, which was like the number one thing we would watch because you can bust out your phone and do like Google Lens and it'll translate all the text on the screen. So you can kind of watch the news, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
And like very often watching the news, you'd feel like they would be like almost mid-sentence and it would slam to commercial. So either I was very, very bad at picking up their transitions to commercials, or it's a little bit awkward for how we would think.
Right.
And I think it's a combination, right? Of like they probably like, and we'll go to commercial right now, and then they just go. But it's like in the U.S. when they're like, and we'll go to commercial and we'll see you when you get back. Then they like the camera lingers.
Yeah.
On silence for a few seconds, and then it fades to black. It would be like just smashing a commercial. So the show just stops. I thought it was done. And this one guy starts talking to the crowd, and he's the guy who I thought was the bad guy, and everyone's like laughing along and talking back to him. And I'm like, oh, he was the hero? That's weird. and then the show starts again. And I was like, oh, I guess that was just intermission, but I still thought that was the bad guy. And then, like, towards the climax, he hops off the stage and, like, points his sword at someone and, like, taunts the hero guy and what, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, he was, like, playing with the audience and getting information because now one of the people in the audience is, like, quote unquote part of the show.
Ah, I see.
And he was like pretending to hold that person hostage to try and make the hero do something for him or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. I understand what was happening now. I didn't at first. I was very confused for a bit, but
quick question. Hold on. Quick question on the commercials. Did you see a Tommy Lee Jones coffee commercial while you were watching TV?
I did not.
Aw, dang.
So Toy Studio Park was okay. I mean, it's only like $30 to get in, so it's worth it if you're like into some of that stuff. Fun to do. Yeah. Then that late afternoon, we made traditional Japanese treats, like with the sweet red bean paste and the sweet white bean paste. They looked like flowers, and they were tasty. Then we went up to Kyoto Tower to see everything that we couldn't see. And then that night we had a dinner where we sat on the zabutons, like on the floor. Mm-hmm. And it was all dumplings.
Oh, that
and
sounds
you would just
amazing.
You would just like put it in order for dumplings, and there were like 15 different ways you could get various dumplings served to you. You could get them like regular, smothered in all kinds of different things. You could get them overstuffed. You could get them quote unquote Kachan's favorite way, which I was like, oh, from My Hero, but very much not. But it was like you get them Kachan's favorite way, which turned out to just be absolutely piled with green onions.
Okay.
Just piled with green onions. So that was a really cool, really tasty meal. By the way, this hotel in Kyoto and then another one two other ones in Tokyo, I don't know if hotels in the U.S. do this. Maybe I've never stayed at a nice enough one. Maybe I've never checked. Their hotels on their information channel had a thing that said, I think, like congestion on it all the time. Mm-hmm. And when you clicked on it, it actually showed you how many people were roughly in the hotel lounge, the hotel lobby, in the bath, like the onsen, if the hotel had it, and how many people and which washing machines were being used.
That's pretty nifty.
So, like, if you were like, oh, I'm going to go do a load of laundry, you could be like, hang on, let me check if there's any machines free first.
Yeah. Or if you want to do the onsen, but you're like, I kind of want to wait for a quiet period where there's not a lot of people in there, you can just keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's pretty cool.
And I had to cover my tattoos when I went in because tattoos are a no-no.
Indeed.
So that was Kyoto, and then we went to Nara. Nara is where the deer walk around with you. And yeah. Walk around is like not an understatement. Like by the end of your time in Nara, if you spend more than like 2 or 3 hours there, which we spent like most of an entire day, you are borderline like shoving the deer out of your way by the time you're done there. You're like, just move, all right? I've walked around you. You've been around all day. Just get out of my way, please.
You're adorable. Now get out of my face.
That's also where they had this huge Buddha in the Todaiji temple. It was gigantic, like very, very cool. And outside, even at the gate to get into this Todaiji temple, even to get into the grounds, they had the giant statues of Agyo and Ungyo. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, that episode won't be out for a while, but look forward to that. When we get into like Ginyu and Frieza, we talk about Agyo and Ungyo, and it may not be a good comparison at all, but we talked about them and I learned about them. And so like, that was another cool thing about being there very often is like, we'd go to a temple or a shrine, and there'd be like, very often there was like the 2 statues of Agyo and Ungyo. And I'd be like, oh, this one's Agyo. He's got his hand up like this because he's beginning and his mouth is open, so he's actually starting to say the first sound in Sanskrit. And then I was like, and this is Ungyo, he's the ending, he represents death, and together they represent like the cycle of rebirth and death. And this guy says mouth closed because he's the last sound in Sanskrit. Like I knew some of these things, so that was cool being there. By the way, octagons. We talked about octagons.
Yes, we did.
Octagons are more just like cardinal directions. And there's like statues placed guarding each of the cardinal directions. North, south, east, west, northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. And that's what the octagons represent a little bit more so. It's like the 8 heavenly kings. Sometimes there's only 4. Because sometimes you just do a north, south, east, west, but there's 8. And so Nara also has this one temple in it that has like 10,000 lanterns, and it had a room in it where like only the lanterns were lit. That was very, very cool. I would recommend that. And then we had the thing in Nara that like, this is a thing, if you asked me, if you like put a gun to my head and was like, what's the coolest thing you saw in Japan? I'm like, I tell you the coolest thing that happened. I'll tell you the coolest thing that happened because it's something that like I could go back to Japan and never replicate. Like, it would potentially never happen again. But it was really cool to have it happen. We went to just a restaurant, like a standard, like they had like Chinese food and Japanese food at just like a restaurant in Nara. But it was on like the 11th floor, and the view was gorgeous. So I finished eating, and my wife still had a little bit left to eat, and I was like, you sit there, I'm going to go just take some pictures because the view is spectacular. As I'm taking pictures, this old man like goes, hey, and I happen to be right next to the waiter, and I'm like, me or him or, and he's like, you, like pointing at me, and I'm like, oh no, like, am I in trouble? Like, did I do something wrong again? Because here I am, like, snapping pictures like crazy, and also like we had been out all day, so I'm like kind of sweaty, you know, and he's not dressed super nice, but dressed like how 70-year-old men dress, with like a button-down shirt and slacks, you know. And he like starts rooting around in his bag, and I'm like, I'm gonna get, like, I don't know, yelled at or something. He pulls out a like day planner sized notebook, and on the inside page it says, "Hello, my name is Mitani. I live here, but I'm interested in foreigners. Can you please go to the first available spot and sign your name and where you're from?"
Cool.
And when you flip through this notebook, he had signatures from all over Europe: France, Rome, the UK, Scotland, which I think is part of the UK, but, you know, England, all over Europe, all over the States, all over Canada, New Zealand, Australia. I was like, that is really,
That's
really
awesome.
cool. And so I signed our names and everything, but like, this guy spoke no English, like, because he had a signature from Toronto in his notebook, and I tried to be like, oh, like, Toronto's not far from Buffalo, and I was like, oh, Toronto, like, I know Toronto, and he was just like, but then he gave us a couple little pieces of origami, and that was just really, really cool.
That is cool. Seems like a really nice
And
fella.
then we ended that day in Osaka. So we like got to Osaka that day. And that's like the first half of our trip. It was really, really awesome. I think the next time we do one of these, I can kind of do the second half of the trip, because I've been talking for close to an hour now about our trip to Japan.
It's been very entertaining.
So, I don't know. Anything else going on with you? Anything new in your world?
Not a whole lot. Just I guess dealing with, because I live in a college town, so dealing with all the fresh
Back to
kids
school.
moving into the dorms and what have you. But other than that, no, it's been pretty quiet over here.
Back to school's been fun. You know, we've had our kids went back to school, so I got bit by the Godzilla bug while I was there, by the way. I'll talk about that a little bit more in our next episode, because it was some interesting Godzilla stuff, but I've been watching tons of Godzilla movies since I got back. But I did happen to see the new Jurassic World movie, as you can tell in the enthusiasm in my voice. I did not care for it.
I did see the Superman movie.
Oh, me too.
Yes, that was very good. I very much enjoyed it.
Yes.
Good movie.
The more I think about it and look back on it, the more I like it. It's one of those.
Oh yeah, it's a good starting point for James Gunn, I think. I'm interested to see what he's going to do now.
It is. So if I were to get like the bad out of the way on talking about Superman, I did have a little trouble getting into it. I think, like, I understand that we don't need to see the Superman origin again.
Yeah.
But I do think we missed out on like establishing some of the relationships. So we don't quite get to know enough about who these characters are, kind of like before this story starts, I think.
I could kind of see that. But I would also say that like you get a pretty good sense of the characters, I would think, by the end of the movie, at least.
it just took me a little bit to get into it.
Yeah.
Kept me a little bit like, you know, I get it that you don't want to see Superman's origin again, but like missing out on Clark's kind of formative time and his relationship with Lois, it just kind of seems like for the first half of this, I was like, this almost feels like where's the first movie? But when it did win me over, I thought it was kind of great. You know, I liked Superman, like just his personality was spot on. He is like, he's what I always talk about, how I like Goku more the older I get, just a constant positive force. You want to be around this Superman because he's trying to do the right thing all the time.
Yeah.
And even when he's making mistakes and even when things are bad, he's not getting overly down. He's still trying to navigate the best, right, most positive way to approach it.
Like
and he's not...
He gets frustrated, but he still understands that, no, I have to stick to the right way to do things, because if I deviate at all, there's no point to anything.
Right. And yes, he can, like... very clearly and obviously, and they make this point like multiple times, he could just show up and punch the thing that's the problem into oblivion. He could easily just go and like rip Lex Luthor's spine out or something, but he doesn't want to. And that, I thought that's the speech at the end that he gives to Luthor about like you don't get it. You think that I'm this like hulking god that can do anything. I'm as human as anyone else.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, that's yes. And I really liked the two sides of the same coin thing that Superman had going on with Mr. Terrific, where Superman is very naive, very much like, I'll say like almost like excited about the possibility of like saving people, and Mr. Terrific is like very cynical and jaded and like saves people because he feels like he should have to.
Right.
Like but they're both ultimately good, like the two like opposite sides of the same coin. I really liked that.
It makes me wonder if that's what he's going to do with every member of the Justice League. Like the core is, no, I'm just going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. But then each hero has their spin on it, and it like how that is manifested in their personality and the way that they see things.
Right. Like, yeah, Superman's going to do it to try and inspire change and be like a positive force, and Mr. Terrific's going to do it because he like logically knows it's like the right thing to do because he's smart, right?
I
like
also get a hint of he doesn't trust anybody else to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Just
and then like
bit.
And like I feel like he's also going to do it because like it's it's logical to do the thing that's the best for the largest number of people, you know? And then like Green Lantern, Guy Gardner's going to do it because of his oath or whatever, even if he's like dumb about it. Like maybe ultimately Batman will do it because he's trying to like inspire fear and like try to like, he's like trying to be more of a negative force against crime type of thing. You know, like you said, they're all going to be doing what's right, but all for different reasons. Like, yeah, that could be really good. So yeah, I really liked this Superman movie. I really liked it a lot.
Excellent movie.
And then I saw Thunderbolts.
I did too. I had fun with that one. I enjoyed it.
It was okay. So here's it was fine. I more or less enjoyed it. My problem is the MCU at this point, right? Like this was a fine little low stakes movie that was mostly driven by decent performances.
Yeah.
I would have been in love with something like that in like phase 2 or 3 of the early era of the MCU.
Yeah.
When I still had faith that the little things would build to big things, and those big things would be great payoffs.
Yeah.
That's my problem now, is I don't know that anything in Thunderbolts will lead to anything, and even if it does, I don't know that it'll be a good payoff.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet.
Neither have I. But
So.
Thunderbolts was a fine. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no,
mostly.
it was okay. Like I said, it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it, but I'm with you. Kind of like, I'm not putting a whole ton of stock in MCU films just because, with all the changes
They've
they keep
fallen
making,
really
and
far.
Yeah, nothing's fitting together. Obviously, not the way they originally intended it. I'm not going to fault them for that, but also they didn't really have anything to pivot to. It seems.
Right. I also saw just yesterday. I want to bring this up only because we might be one of the only podcasts that sees it or talks about it in any form. But if you get a chance, if you want to Google and look for it, I will give you I will give anyone out there my strong recommendation on this movie called Brush of the God. Now, it is a small, independent Japanese tokusatsu movie. I've known about it for a while because it is directed by and suits and effects done by Kaizo Murase, who is like the Japanese suit maker. Like, he designed the original Ghidorah, he designed the original Varan, he did Mothra, he did the Mighty Peking Man, he did Gamera. Like, he's done everything. He was like the pioneer who figured out how to make like various skin textures, how to make spines light up, how to like tons and tons and tons of things. He's created Mothra, Varan, Godzilla, Matango, Ghidorah, Baragon, Gamera, Daimajin, Gauss, Yongari. Like, he's the guy.
Okay.
And this is a movie that is more in the lines of, if anyone out there has ever seen, The Great Yokai War, which is directed by Takashi Miike. And so it's a little bit more kid friendly and a little bit more like kind of kid centric. And it's about the greatest suit maker of all time. A little self-indulgent in that way. It's about the greatest suit maker of all time passing away, and his family having to realize that they need to like keep his spirit alive in order to keep his like spirit, his imaginative spirit alive.
Okay.
And it's about mostly like his granddaughter kind of coming to that realization. And along the way, she goes on this like fantasy adventure and fights a couple of kaiju, including Yamato no Orochi, who is the 8-headed dragon of Japanese legend who fought against Susanoo when he was, I think, like banished from heaven for upsetting the other gods, and he had to prove himself that he was worthy to get back in, and he like does battle with Orochi. I think that's the story. It's a very, very old legend of Japan that ties into their legends of creation, like their creation mythology.
Oh, okay.
But the suit work was fantastic. It is a cute, fun movie. It is 75 minutes long.
That's not much of a time investment.
So it's not like playing anywhere really. Like it had one showtime in all of Houston. Wow. And I went to it. I'll probably have to figure out like a little bit more to write about it and put it up on my Letterboxd, but I really enjoyed it. It was very much, like I said, if you've ever seen Great Yokai War, it's in that vein, and it's very enjoyable, and it is a quick, breezy, cute, fun watch. And if you're a tokusatsu fan like me, there's actually like a lot of tokusatsu work in it.
Cool.
Like, I wasn't expecting there to be as much as there was. And there was a ton. So really, really cool. Very highly recommended.
All right. I think I'll check it out.
I'm sure it'll eventually come to like a streaming platform or something somewhere. But if you Google it, if it happens to be playing, within like half an hour of you or even an hour of you, I would recommend going and seeing it. It played about 40 minutes from me, and I totally did not regret the drive at all.
All right.
So that's all. That's a lot. And next time we get in, I'll do more of my trip to Japan. I don't know if anyone else wants to hear it, but
I do. That's really all that matters.
I enjoy telling it, and like I said, if people out there who are listening end up hearing some, hey, that sounds like something I'd like to do, like, yeah. And also feel free to ask, if you ever want to ask any questions. Like, I definitely would have like a whole bunch of tips and ideas. And like, I mean, number one, frankly, if you can not go in the summer, because it was hot. We have to because, my wife is a teacher, so it's when she gets a lot of time off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would recommend not going in the summer. But
duly noted.
But aside from that, it was a fantastic trip, and yeah, I'll tell everyone the next time we hop on about one of these quicker episodes. I'll tell everyone about our stay in Osaka, our trip to Hiroshima, and then our trip back to Tokyo, including the Godzilla Hotel.
Oh.
So
now we're previewing our future Godzilla references.
Yes.
This bit's taken on a whole new form, much like a certain villain we know.
Yeah. It's like that's our like cue up the prelude to battle music in the background,
Yeah.
like Jelly still hasn't talked about his trip to Osaka, his emotional time in Hiroshima, and his fun in the Godzilla Hotel. All this and more next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Fantastic.
We should have gotten Dale Kelly back to just for that.
Just for that, yes. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Alrighty, we'll take our leave here, and that's it for today.
Right on.
We always end these ones a little more awkwardly, but that's sort of the shtick of these ones.
Exactly. Have a good one, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Final Form is written and produced by Tom Gwelly. It is performed by Dan Kinney and Tom Gwelly. Our webmaster is Dan Kinney. Our theme music is provided by YouTube content creator GVG Kid. Want to learn more about the Dragon Ball universe, including concept art, behind-the-scenes interviews, and recommendations from Jelli and Bekinney? Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Final Forum Pod. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you receive your podcasts. And of course, make sure to share it with your friends and family and help us spread the word of the glory of Lord Frieza. The Frieza Force thanks you for your listenership.